your midday fix of facts and spicy sides.
From breaking headlines to a lot of backroom whispers.
All served hot and fresh. Hello there, I'm Monique Tuzon.
I'm Mai Rodriguez. This is the Daily Dish.
And I'm Chal, Lontoc. Join us in the next hour and a half where the news meets the stories that matter to you.
And we're going to talk about Louie Heredia today.
I know, mabuhay, proud moment.
He is going to have a front row seat in the Miss Universe pageant. He joins the panel of illustrious jurors for pageant night.
And you know how it is with Filipinos when it comes to any pageant. As long as you have, of course, a representation from our country, it will definitely make us proud. So congrats to us as well.
Proud moment. But speaking of pageants, we're gonna move from Louie, and we have Nathan Sison here, who is a Q&A expert and coach. And it's actually easier said than done, Chal. We tried it in the makeup room, and I've done trainings. Q&A
You know
is
this
really
too.
hard. Like, it seems easy when you watch the contestants, but when you actually do it yourself, it's scary.
It's
A lot
nerve-wracking.
goes on
Nerve-wracking.
backstage, and the months of training
It's a
prior
lot.
to pageant night,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
So we're going to talk to Nathan about it and see how we can also include the Q&A training that he does in our daily life.
So I like this because we're gonna get educated not just on pageantry, but also how to apply it
Yes.
and use it in public speaking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking about education, today we will also be guesting Louie Cruz to talk about Edukaravan, which is very important these days because a lot of the kids I hear, you know, in certain parts of the Philippines, after they reach, let's say, high school, they don't turn up or choose to continue on with college. They prefer to go straight to work. So we're gonna see the good work that he's been doing, and we're gonna learn more about that.
There is so much we can do to help out, and I'd like to learn more about his advocacy, so stay tuned for that. But first, the headlines. In today's headlines, multi-sectoral groups hold protests today at the EDSA Shrine in preparation for a bigger rally on November 30th. The Senate holds necrological services for former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. OPM icon Louie Heredia joins the selection committee of the upcoming Miss Universe pageant. And we'll speak with pageant expert Nathan Sison and the lead organizer of Edukaravan, Louie Cruz. In today's top story, a protest action kicks off at the EDSA Shrine, which is expected to be part of a bigger rally at the end of this month. Pierre Pastor joins us live from Quezon City. Hi, Pierre. Who are the participants in today's protest?
Hi, Mai. Actually, this is not a rally, but a press conference. As members of the clergy and civil society groups gathered this morning to kick off their protest action on November 23 here in EDSA and plan out their participation for the big rally on November 30. November 23 is the 100th year of Christ the Servant King, and the Clergy for Good Governance has planned a celebration cum protest action. They say there will be a procession in this area and a Eucharistic celebration, which will be presided by Cardinal Ambo David, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. They say this is going to be a special celebration. This event will be joined by civil society groups, Tindig Pilipinas, Siklab, some labor groups, Kalipunan, Youth Against Kurakot, Akbayan, ML Party List, and more. In this press conference today, aside from the members of the clergy, speakers were Teresita Delias of Tindig, Kayla Meneses of Youth Against Kurakot, Rafael David of Akbayan, Erin Tanyada of Liberal Party, and Kiko Aquino D. They are inviting more and more people to join the coming protest actions, to be united in expressing dismay with the corruption going on in the country and with the government. Mai?
Pierre, can you tell us more about the message of the clergy?
Actually, Mai, they're calling to end political dynasty because this will eventually end corruption. And Father Robert Reyes said they're not here to fight any person, but they're here because they love this country, and the gospel compels them to speak for the people who now feels forgotten, unheard, and unprotected. Mai?
Thank you. Pierre Pastor reporting. The anti-corruption protest continues, this time at sea. A group of fishermen is calling for the resignation of President Bongbong Marcos amid the growing political tension over the biggest corruption scandal the country has faced so far. Andrea Salve is joining us for an update. Andrea, go ahead.
A fluvial protest was held earlier today by local members of Pamalakaya in Navotas to denounce what they describe as systemic corruption in flood control projects and to reiterate their call for President Bongbong Marcos to resign. According to Pamalakaya Vice Chairperson Ronel Arambulo, they hold the president primarily responsible for the alleged irregularities in flood control project funds inserted in the national budget and say he must be held accountable. Arambulo claimed that the resignation of former Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman only strengthens PBBM's alleged involvement in what they describe as one of the country's biggest corruption controversies. Resigned Congressman Zaldico earlier implicated Pangandaman in the alleged 100 billion peso insertions in the 2025 national budget. Pamalakaya also called for the resignation of Vice President Sara Duterte, who they claim faces her own corruption allegations. Controversy continues to hound Duterte over her office's alleged misuse of confidential and intelligence funds. Arambulo emphasized that all public officials accused of corruption, not only those linked to the flood control issue, must be held accountable. The group also continued to oppose environmentally damaging projects such as reclamation, mining, and seabed quarrying, which they say have devastated livelihoods, especially in the fishing sector. Pamalakaya says they are determined to join the November 30 protest in Luneta and are laying out plans to hold a program in Mendiola to bring their grievances as close as possible to Malacanang. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Andrea Salve reporting. The National Bureau of Investigation continues to search for the alleged close aides of former Congressman Zaldico, John Paul Estrada, and Mark Texay. NBI officer in charge, Attorney Angelito Magno, tells BNC's On Point they tried to serve a subpoena to Estrada, but he no longer resides in his supposed address.
Because of this allegation po, nung mga nauna pa na siya ay nag-deliver, kasama siya sa grupo ni Congressman Zaldico. We tried looking for him. Yung pinadala naming address, ang resulta po ay negative at meron po tayong certification na he's not living there.
Where did you get that address, that particular address?
Siguro doon po sa mga sinulat niyang address nung nag-appear siya sa Senate.
The agency is now coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration to pinpoint their whereabouts. Meantime, Magno hits back at former Congressman Mike Defensor, who told BNC's The Spokes that NBI personnel beat Estrada and his wife. Defensor also claimed the couple were taken to Chile.
I was able to talk to Congressman Mike Defensor. And I asked him kung saan nanggagaling yung mga ganong aligasyon niya. And he said that somebody just told me na ito. And then we are asking na kung sino man yan at kung meron man totoo, katunayan yung ginawa na yan, ay ibigay niyo po sa amin at iimbestigahan namin yan.
Magno now warns Defensor he could be prosecuted for his false allegations and for besmirching the reputation of the NBI. They are giving Defensor until this week to coordinate with the agency. The Senate holds necrological services for former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. JPE, who was also Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, died November 13 after battling pneumonia. Hannah T. is live from the Senate. Hi, Hannah. What's the latest and who's attending the service?
The Senate has just concluded its necrological service for former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, and it very much felt like the closing of an era in Philippine politics. Senate President Tito Soto led the tributes, describing Enrile as a man who chose to serve for more than 6 decades under 8 presidents. He recalled how Enrile always stood by his decisions as legislator. Soto said he takes comfort in knowing that Enrile is happy now after a long life of service. He said, "Alam kong happy ka," a famous line from Enrile himself. Former Senator Richard Gordon painted a portrait of Enrile's early struggles, born in deep poverty in Cagayan, working as a houseboy, joining the guerrilla resistance, being captured and imprisoned by Japanese forces. He said Enrile was born into struggle and raised without privilege, yet became one of the most consequential figures in modern history. Former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo looked back on Enrile as a respected ally of her father, former President Diosdado Macapagal, during martial law. She worked with Enrile as Senate President on key legislations, including the Comprehensive Tax Reform, the CARP Extension Act, the Expanded Senior Citizens Act, and measures against terrorism. Arroyo also shared that after the Maguindanao massacre, Enrile was in Malacanang late into the evening, helping her craft the proclamation of martial law in Mindanao. Senate President Pro Tempore Panfilo Lacson highlighted how Enrile's longtime staff remained with him for decades, saying this was a sign of how he protected even ordinary employees. He reminded everyone that Enrile walked alongside history while also fighting for the rights of ordinary workers. Senator Jinggoy Estrada gave a very personal eulogy, calling Enrile family. He recalled how Enrile never forgot his father, former President Joseph Estrada, and how their friendship was marked by acts of loyalty, from accompanying Enrile during his own arrest amid the pork barrel scandal to standing by the Estrada family when it was their turn to be jailed. Estrada said Enrile insisted how he would help the country but asked only one condition, that he not be kept away from ERAP, whom he felt needed him most. Estrada's younger brother, Senator J.V. Ejercito, said he once felt intimidated sharing the Senate hall with giants like Miriam Defensor Santiago and Franklin Drilon, but as a seatmate, Enrile put him at ease and offered comfort and guidance instead of intimidation. Senator Erwin Tulfo, meanwhile, recalled visiting Enrile just weeks before his death to ask for guidance on how to be a better legislator and public servant. He said Enrile's advice was simple but deep, centered on preparation, discipline, and fidelity to duty, and that it became a source of strength for him. Senator Robin Padilla also shared his own personal stories, including being summoned by Enrile when he was a new senator. He talked about Enrile's support for his efforts on constitutional amendments, even offering to be Padilla's witness in hearings, and his strong views on attracting foreign investors in a parliamentary system. Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri said that while others studied history, Enrile lived it, especially through martial law, EDSA, and many political upheavals. He said Enrile showed him the routes of legislation and could be strict, but always with the goal of strengthening institutions. Finally, his daughter Katrina Ponce Enrile shared her own reflections after 23 years of walking these Senate halls with her father. She said he understood the loneliness of public service, watching allies become adversaries and political seasons shift, but that this chamber also sustained him. The Senate, she said, was both his battlefield and his home. Aside from those who delivered their eulogies, several sitting senators also paid their respects. Former Senators Jambi Madrigal and Francisco Tatad were also here today, along with Orly Mercado. And the Ponce Enrile family also received a Senate resolution expressing their profound condolences on the passing of JPE, who died at 103 years old after battling pneumonia. Mai?
So, Hannah, the necrological service has ended, but is the public viewing ongoing? What's the schedule for that?
Maya, as of now, the public viewing here at the Senate is still ongoing. We've yet to see kung patapos na ba siya. But this afternoon, nagkaroon ng chance yung ilang Senate employees na ma-view nga yung remains ni former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. And pagdating naman dun sa public viewing sa kanilang place in Makati, meron ding viewing on November 21. That starts at around 10 or 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Hanati, live from the Senate. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure is still reviewing affidavits from former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo over his alleged role in the flood control controversy. Meanwhile, the Ombudsman has filed charges against several officials and executives linked to the corruption scandal. Let's go live to Ian Maghanoy joining us from the ICI in Taguig. Ian, go ahead.
Mai, that is correct. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, is still evaluating the affidavits submitted by former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo on his alleged ties on the flood control mess. Speaking before the members of the media at ICI office in Taguig City this Wednesday, ICI Executive Director Andres Reyes Jr. stressed the evaluation of ICI of Bernardo's two affidavits is still underway, which will take at least 10 days. Meanwhile, the Commission have also congratulated the Office of the Ombudsman for the filing of RAPs against former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico, Department of Public Works and Highways Mimaropa officials, and SunWest Corporation executives allegedly implicated on the flood control scandal in Oriental Mindoro. May also, with the recent allegations of Zaldico online, the Commission is also planning to invite former Budget Chief Amena Pangandaman for an investigation in hopes that more names will surface amid the filing of charges. Mai?
Thank you, Ian Maghanoy, live from the ICI headquarters in Taguig. Up next on the Daily Dish, we're hitting the road with a program that takes education beyond the classroom. From remote Cordillera schools to teachers and students in need of support, Edukaravan brings learning, training, and inspiration straight to the communities that need it most. We'll hear the story from founder Louie Cruz when we return. Stay with us. The Daily Dish will be right back.
Daily Dish. Education isn't always inside four walls, and today we're exploring a program that brings lessons, training, and creativity directly to schools in remote communities.
Joining us is Edukaravan founder Louie Cruz, who's been helping make this vision a reality. Louie, thanks for being here and thanks for all that you do.
Thank you for the invitation, Chal and Monique.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you.
course. You know, he was supposed to be here last week too. Like, remember our doula yesterday?
Yes.
He had to reschedule because he was stuck in Benguet.
But you made it. I always say, and I always mention that, you know, you are at the right place at the right time, and this is the right platform for us to be able to talk about this, because this is all about education. But first, let's talk about Edukaravan. As the founder, why did you start this?
Okay. Edukaravan is an outreach program that is designed to intervene in terms of the challenges of healthcare, the educational system. No? It was founded by a lot of the alumni of the the Masters in Entrepreneurship program, and we basically thought of we have to do something about it, because at the end of the day, it's all about education. If we do not, focus on something that's really soft to our hearts, it's going to be a challenge for the economy in the future. Yeah.
And what gaps did you see in our education system that needed to be addressed?
Okay.
And why you had a feeling that you had to do this program?
In our daily rounds across the archipelago, we've been to, Basilan, Lanao del Norte, and in the Benguet areas. What we noticed is that whenever we speak to the parents of the students, they would always say, hindi muna, I will not let my child go to college. At the end of the day, they will go back into farming anyway. No? So that was something that we saw. It was a gap wherein we can probably intervene. Intervention basically means is that we have, in our fold, we have a lot of companies within the alumni community. We can tap these alumni companies to support these students, For a meager amount of 50,000 pesos, you're able to provide that expenses for the student, on a yearly basis. That's equivalent to like 200,000 pesos for the whole degree. No? Again, the schools are free. And Benguet State University is free, the University of the Philippines is free. So it's just the ability for them to enter in these colleges, and at the same time, the expenses will be shouldered by us.
And you've been doing this for 5 years now, since 2022.
Yes.
You mentioned that a lot of students, they typically stop at high school. When you talk to the parents and when you talk to the students, what is the main reason why they don't value education as much?
Well, Monique, it's not about, the value is still there, but the ability for them to pay on a daily basis the cost for going to school is quite a challenge, and that's really it's basically the problem all over the Cordilleras, because it's farming is the way of life, and I think the cost for allowing the student to go into college is something that they are not prepared, so that's where the intervention comes in. The Edukaravan program provides that assistance, and it will definitely bridge that gap when it comes to giving that opportunity for the students to go into college.
There used to be a lot of talk in social media about diploma or discarte. I don't know if you remember that, Nat. You don't really need to finish school, but I'm happy to hear that most of these students, they really want to finish, same with the family. It's just that the cost of putting their kids to school is what hinders them. Can you give us some of the stories in the 5 years that you've been doing Edukaravan that you were able to support and maybe have a graduate as well?
Yes. Well, our first graduate will be probably next year, and a lot of the students are actually they don't have really the resources for them to go into school to continue with their education. The success stories would be, we are increasing in terms of the number of scholars, and I think that's one of the success metrics for us, the ability for us to bring in more scholars. And I think, and with all the support that's coming from the other companies, I think that it basically shows that the program is working. So that itself is, for us, a success. Yeah.
And typically, where do you get the funding for these educations? Because I know coming up on November 29, you have a concert fundraiser, right, with the Philippine Suzuki Orchestra. So that's one way of getting funding. But typically, for the 5 years that you've been doing it, where do you get it?
Again, the different companies that are within the fold of the organization consistently supports it. They always answer to that call of need. So whenever a student comes in, whenever a new batch of students, we usually talk to these companies and tell them, by the way, perhaps you would want to support these students. At the end of the day, when the program ends, they have the choice to hire these students.
Yes. Oh, that's
so
really
that
nice.
basically,
there's a continuity as well.
Yes, you basically complete the whole system of from non-education to having that degree and working already in companies.
For
So
our viewers who are watching, what's typically the price range to support a student to go through college all throughout?
yes, again, the premise is that all these students are accepted in the Benguet State University or the University of the Philippines in Baguio. The cost per year for each student is around 50,000 pesos. So that's approximately around 200,000 pesos for the whole degree. No?
And you're talking about cost of living for them to continue to go to school because most of these schools are free already, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The Edukaravan has an intensive college entrance exam review. It's a 1-week review. And that is also one of our assistants in terms of preparing them for the exams as well. So it's a one-week program wherein we tap the Ugnay ng Pahinungo, the service arm of the University of the Philippines in Baguio, where they bring in the experts, the educational content, and for one rigorous week, they are prepared to take, they're prepared for the college entrance exams. So.
Okay, Louie, just an elephant in the room for me. Of course, we have our own Department of Education to be able to, you know, take care of these things. Are you working hand in hand with them? Why is it that we need the private sector to intervene and actually do these projects?
That's a very good question. I don't know with government.
I like
you
that
know?
smile.
but the point is, we are zeroing in on the very challenge that we all face today. You know. You know, I don't know with government. Maybe it's just that probably if you do not educate or give the necessary resources for these students, you know, predatory politics will remain, you know. And I think if we break that chain, I think we can really make a difference. And it's a collaborative effort. It's not only private, you know, other groups can join. The template is very simple, you know. There is a student who needs, you know, a proper degree. Here comes companies who would provide the necessary resources for their daily expenses. And it's that simple. And then we can replicate this template to other groups as well. And you can just imagine the exponential growth of students that can be, you know, sponsored, you know, for the rest of the years. And we can break that chain of potential, sorry to say, the predatory politics.
Yeah, you mentioned predatory politics. Can you further explain what that is? Because this is actually the first time I'm hearing it.
Yes, okay. Basically, by simple definition, predatory politics is, you know, you're not enabling, you know, the population to be well educated. So, again, when election comes, you know, that's where the magic works. That's where the magic starts, you know. You try to do the unnecessary, indecent proposals to these, you know, potential voters, and eventually, you know, you can get their votes, you know.
Now, is there a specific reason why you guys chose the Cordillera Administrative Region as a whole to focus on? Because we're lacking pretty much
Or is it
everywhere.
widespread, nationwide?
It's widespread, yeah, but why that region in
Yes, we've
particular?
been moving around as well. We started in Basilan, Llano del Norte, Bicol. But right now, our engagement is quite extensive in the Cordilleras, no? And the density of schools within the area is quite high, no? So it's easier for us to, in a way, enroll these potential scholars, no? You know, for the program. No?
Okay, Louie, as the lead organizer, how do students actually approach you, or do you handpick them? What is the process? Because I'm sure people who are watching this would either want to know how to help, but also, as a student, if I needed that support, do they approach Edukaravan, or is there a system that they should apply to?
Well, it's very simple. Whenever we go to a particular school, there are 3 steps. First, there is a recommendation from the principal, who are, you know, the potential students that can be considered a scholar. And then we interview the parents, the families, no? And last but not the least, we interview the students, of course, no? Not only you focus on education, but of course you want to explore other extracurricular that the student would have, you know? I think it's a holistic approach.
The character as well.
Yes, exactly. So, it's a simple metrics, you know, so that basically is our process. And, you know, there is always a lot of recommendations from different schools because they hear about it, no? So when those schools are recommended, we go there and then we interview the student, the families, and the ones who recommended it, no?
And what are the... go ahead, Chal.
No, I just wanted to say, I love that he kept it simple, you
Right.
know? As simple as it is to be able to reach the goals that you have. That's
you
it,
have to keep it simple always, because
keep
if
it
you
sweet and
make it
simple.
hard, no one's going to want to do it.
Yeah.
But typically, what challenges have you guys been facing with Edukaravan?
Well, the technology, definitely. The digital divide. Again, the ubiquity of technology in the metropolis is, you know, it's not a question. But as you go far to the remote areas of these provinces, there is limited technology, particularly bandwidth, So I think that should be addressed. No? Again, for us to capitalize on the richness of information that can be gathered from the web, a lot of platforms out there, Khan Academy, Coursera, wherein that can actually be used to augment the current educational system of DepEd or CHED. Yeah.
Louie, every time I meet someone who has a certain passion and who brings it out into action, I'm always amazed. I'm just gonna go back to you. What sparked it for you to be able to, because you're actually in the health industry, right?
Yes.
Or healthcare industry. And jumping into this mission, this noble mission of educating. We always say education is a must. We need it to build the nation, the foundation. But not everyone is doing something about it. And you have chosen to jump into it. What sparked it?
Well, the Program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, is, I think we all know that we have a dismal performance, no? And we have to find a way to improve our ratings, no? Not to mention the fact that another category in 2024 was added, which is critical thinking, aside from math, reading, and science. Critical thinking.
Well, that's good. We need that.
We're actually one of the lowest. I'm trying to Google now the statistics.
Yes, exactly. So, again, performance of our economy will suffer, no? And if we don't do anything right now, who else will do it? I think that's something that should be inherent in each and every one of us, that we should continue to find ways to alleviate the plight of the Filipino people. If not, again, sayang. No? So this is the time for us to bring all together our efforts for something that is very integral, education.
I agree.
Yeah, actually, I Googled what's the literacy rate in the Philippines, and developmentaid.org says, actually, the World Bank reports that 91% of Filipino children age 10 struggle to read simple text, and that's an astounding number, 91%.
For Edukaravan, are you focused with high schoolers moving on
high schoolers.
to collegiate levels, right?
Whenever we execute the Edukaravan program, it's a one-week program, again, in collaboration with the Ugnayan ng Pahinungod from UP Baguio. There are two parts. One would be for the elementary students, and the other one for the high school students.
Okay, so you're doing both.
The elementary will focus on the basic soft skills like art, journalism, leadership program. But for the high school, we prepare them for an intensive program is given to them for them to be prepared for college entrance exams. No? So it's a multifaceted approach, and usually an Edukaravan event would usually have like around 200, 300 students, for 1 week. So that's the template that we usually, and again, a lot of schools around, the province would usually want to have that same program as well.
Right. Now, before we let you go, Louie, can you invite our viewers to join your fundraiser on November 29th and other ways to help sponsor Edukaravan?
Well, yes. I would always want to end with a good narrative. No? And on the 29th of November, we will be having this Bituin ng Pag-asa. No?
Oh, I like the name.
So, May Bituin ng Pag-asa. It basically symbolizes a ray of hope despite the challenges that we all face right now.
Yes.
And again, this event will be on the 29th of November from 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. No? At the SGV Hall of the Asian Institute of Management.
Nice.
So if they want to actually take part and help, they don't need to build another foundation themselves. They could just actually take part and support also what Edukaravan is doing.
Yes, and again, like what you said, the template is very simple. It can be replicated. We can assist them, and if we can exponentially grow and have this template used by a lot of groups, so much
Do you have
better.
a site that our viewers can reach you apart from the fundraiser that's coming up?
Yes, we have a website for the fundraising activity and
social media platforms that they can check out.
Again, not at the moment, yeah.
Okay, but you know what's still stuck in my head? That 90+% that you
it's
just found
crazy.
out of Filipino kids.
Under
Kids.
10.
We're talking about kids under 10 who are not so literate. So Louie, the value of what you do, truly important. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me and Mo and sharing it. I think, while other people, while we're here complaining and, feeling furious, there are people like you who are finding ways and solutions.
Right.
So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Chal. Thank you, Mai.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much once again, Louie Cruz of Edukaravan.
And we've got more stories from around the world, plus the latest in sports and entertainment after the break. The Daily Dish will be right back.
You're back on the Daily Dish. Political analyst Clarita Carlos doubts that foreign forces may be behind a supposed destabilization plot against the government. This is in reaction to the military suspicion that China may be responsible for the two-day rally at the People Power Monument. On BNC's At the Forefront, Dr. Carlos, who's also PBBM's former national security advisor, says those who want to unseat the president should do it through legal means.
Huwag tayong maging banana republic. Do not think of extra-constitutional means, no? Military junta or military civilian junta. Sundin na lang po natin ang sinasabi ng konstitusyon. Gusto niyo i-oust ang chief executive, i-attempt niyo yan through the means na nasa konstitusyon.
She also supports the latest effort to amend the Constitution.
Ang Constitution will really be for the next generation. It will not be for this leadership. Yan dapat ang ayusin natin, Attorney Karen. Structural change will change behavior of people. So, siguro sa 2028 ballot, maglagay sila ng isang question doon. Do you want to revise the 87 Constitution? Yes or no? Tapos noon, either con us or whatever, initiative.
Broadcaster Montulfo has raised the possibility that corruption in the government may have reached as high as former Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin. On BNC's The Spokes, Tulfo said if Bersamin is found guilty, he should face prosecution like other high-profile figures. Bersamin, who has been dragged to the flood control scandal, has just resigned.
And how high up should someone be prosecuted?
High up.
As high as?
Di ba yung si Bersamin mukhang kasama eh?
Correct.
O, di ba yung little president?
Right.
The former little president. Eh, dapat kung guilty siya, dapat ikulong siya.
So you're looking at the executive branch, the highest being Bersamin,
Yes.
the little president, and then sa legislative naman, on the legislature side. The senators are already being prosecuted.
Kasama na sila, di ba? Sila Joel, si Jinggoy. Si Jinggoy hindi na nadala yan.
Kasama po si Pogi, di ba? Si Senator Revilla din, kakasuhan.
Oh, hindi rin nadala yan. Hindi nadala. Magkasama sila sa kulungan, di ba?
Tulfo also expressed support for Senate President Tito Soto stepping in as caretaker president in the event that the president and even VP Sara Duterte resigns. He praised Soto as intelligent and capable, noting that his public image has been shaped largely by his television career.
But the other formula was, assuming it happened, the withdrawal support will ask both President and Vice President to
resign.
Are you in favor of that if ever that happened? And then let SP, Tito Soto, take over. It's also in the Constitution. And he will call for a special election as a caretaker president.
Maganda kung si Tito Soto, magaling kuha niya na. Kasi si Tito ay
matinong tao. Akala lang natin komedyante yan. Si Tito, classmate ko yan sa Letran eh.
Okay.
He graduated na pinakabata sa amin dahil 2 beses yan na-accelerate.
Oh, matalino.
Matalino si Tito. Kaya lang siguro yung imahe niya na project ay dahil yung doon sa yung may TV show sila na School Bukol. School Bukol, diba? Akala ng mga tao kung gano'n siya. Matalino si Tito.
The U.S. Senate approves a bill requiring that the Epstein files be made public. It unanimously passed the House-backed bill forcing the Justice Department to release records on the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The measure now heads to President Donald Trump, who has said he'd sign it, a stark reversal in his position. Democrats had long slammed Trump for delaying the release of the files amid rumors of alleged ties to the sex offender. Adding to the pressure are protests from survivors of Epstein's abuse. Pope Leo is escalating his criticism of President Donald Trump's immigration policies, saying migrants in the U.S. are being treated extremely disrespectfully. Speaking at Castel. Meanwhile, White House border czar Tom Homan says immigration enforcement will intensify in New York City, citing its sanctuary policies. New York officials quickly pushed back, saying Korea is partnering with the United Arab Emirates on the U.S.-backed Stargate project, set to become the world's largest AI data campus outside the United States. The agreement, reached after a summit between Presidents Lee Jae-myung and Mohammed bin Zayed, includes South Korea building computing systems and a power grid using nuclear, gas, and renewable energy. The two nations also plan deeper cooperation on AI research, investment, supply chains, and infrastructure. Microsoft's Windows operating system turns 40 on Thursday, marking 4 decades since the launch of Windows 1.0 on November 20, 1985. Under co-founder Bill Gates, the first version laid the groundwork, while later releases, including Windows 95, 98, and XP, helped establish Windows as the world's leading PC platform and a hub for gaming developers.
It firmly established, the modern graphical user interface, windowing type interface, as the main way that we use computers. I mean, most people today have never used command line or even some of the earlier alternate semi-graphical systems. So, it kind of, Apple had made a business in that niche, but it was still a niche before Windows 95. I think Windows 95 established it as kind of the world standard for computing.
Windows is now in its 11th version, Windows 11. Microsoft continues to modernize the system, most recently adding AI upgrades to its Copilot assistant.
Look, I mean, Microsoft is the foundation of this economy, of everything that we see that consumers and enterprises do. You look at Windows, that was a watershed moment that changes the way that we live lives today. We wouldn't be here today if it's not for what Microsoft Windows did, back in the 80s.
A new study warns that ultra-processed foods are a major global health threat linked to obesity, diabetes, cancer, and other chronic diseases. The study, published on the medical journal Lancet, says heavily processed items from soft drinks to instant noodles now make up more than half of diets in countries like the U.S. The papers call for national policies to limit high-fat, sugar, and salty foods, but the industry remains a key obstacle. Critics argue any restrictions could reduce affordable, shelf-stable options.
The Philippines kept its bid to qualify for the 2027 Asian Cup alive with a 2-0 win over Maldives on Tuesday. Jefferson Tabinas got the Philippines on the scoreboard in the 24th minute after thumping a header. It didn't take long before midfielder Sandra Reyes doubled the tally through a 37th minute strike after an assist from former UAAP MVP Harvey Gayoso 13 minutes later. Maldives would not concede for the rest of the game. The win is already enough for the Philippines to tie leader Tajikistan on points in the qualifying group. On March 31, 2026, the Philippines will next face Tajikistan on their own home turf, where only a win will secure the Filipinos a spot at the 2027 meet in Saudi Arabia. Nagja-jump yung prompt. The Philippines is set to host the 2025 Junior World Artistic Gymnastics Championships at the Manila Marriott Grand Ballroom in Pasay City from November 20 to 24. Close to 750 athletes from 74 countries are set to compete in the meet, a record turnout for the World Junior event. Leading the Philippine team is Eldrew Yulo, younger brother of two-time Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo on the men's side, and Elizabeth Antone for the women's division. Both Philippine athletes are fresh from podium finishes in the Asian Junior Championships last June. Gymnastics Association of the Philippines President Cynthia Carrion is confident that competitions like this will help boost the country's prospects of performing better in the future.
Usually the one who wins in the junior level becomes an Olympian. If you look at so if Eldrew wins it, I'm sure you have another Olympian there. But the next LA Olympics, we're going to bring a team. So Eldrew will be part of the team, and with Carlos and two others that I'm trying to train so that our team would be good, that maybe we can win a medal for team.
Filipino singer and TV host Louie Heredia joins the selection committee for the 74th Miss Universe pageant, the organization announced Tuesday night. In a social media post, Miss Universe said Heredia's expertise and long years of international performances will offer valuable perspectives to this year's competition. Heredia previously served on the panel for the Miss Universe closed-door interviews held last week. The Miss Universe coronation is set for November 21 in Bangkok, Thailand, with the Philippines' Atisa Manalo vying for the country's 5th crown. In other news, Britain's Princess Kate delivered her first public address since November 2023, making her first speech following her cancer diagnosis disclosed in March 2024. Her remarks were delivered at the Future Workforce Summit, a gathering focused on bringing UK business leaders together to boost investment in early childhood. Princess Kate urged leaders to support workplaces that allow employees to maintain healthy family lives, saying this is essential for a stronger and healthier society.
It is this texture, the weave of love, which forms a child's emotional world and becomes the foundation, the very fabric of resilience and belonging. I believe in restoring the dignity to the quiet, often invisible work of caring, of loving well, as we look to build a happier, healthier society. You are here because you care. So thank you.
When we return, we'll be joined by someone who shapes queens before they even hit the runway. Pageant Q&A coach Nathan Tuzon is in the house. Don't go away. The Daily Dish will be right back.
back. You're still watching The Daily Dish. Pageantry is not just about the fabulous gowns and slaying it on the runway, it's also about that beautiful mind.
Our guest today is helping contestants ace one of pageantry's most awaited parts, the question and answer portion. Joining us today is pageant Q&A coach, no other than Nathan Season. Welcome!
Hi.
Yes, hi again.
For coming.
You know what's so amazing?
Training us to
You know what's so amazing, Nathan, is I have heard of these new things coming out in pageantry, like coaching how to walk, how to look, and all of these. But Q&A coaching, this is something new, but very much needed.
No, actually, Q&A's, that's not new.
But
it's been more rampant lang now that it has to be more mind over beauty. Before, right, it was mostly beauty, but now they're checking how
But what about the
intellectual
profession
they are.
itself of just being specifically a
For
Q&A
pageant
coach?
Q&A.
Yeah.
Actually, when I started iCore Academy, which is where I do my coachings, initially it was a public speaking facility. But I realized the pageant industry itself is very lucrative, that you can just specifically focus on such a skill to teach and coach. So that's why I focused on that. And yeah, you're correct. It's quite new in a sense. Well, queens have been preparing. Monique here is a beauty queen. Queens have been preparing for Q&A, right? But
Q&A is
only
the
this
hardest.
time na nagkaroon talaga ng very, very specific positions ang mga team. Like there's a different coach for pasarela, a different one for the design. Dati it was all just the handler doing everything. And now I get a place in the pageant scene as a Q&A coach.
It's very niche na, no?
Correct.
Where do you see the weakness in Q&A? Like when you train these girls, what weakness do you see in them that they don't have? Because we just talked, right, for example, we just had the education department conversation kanina. So where do you see what lack of skills they need?
I think it's just about every time I do a coaching session, I start off first with like an assessment. So there are a series of questions that I throw to the candidate or a girl or a king. We also have males preparing for pageants as well. And based on that, I look at what do they lack. Sometimes they do not lack the facility in language, but what they lack is what to prepare. Sometimes they lack about the knowledge of the actual pageant they're going into, because different pageants entail different styles, different skill sets. So I think it's about knowing what to prepare. So some of them are already okay. They just needed to know what they need to prepare. So
Nathan, I want to ask, how did you find this knack for being able to coach for Q&A? Like, has it always been inherent in you? Were you always watching the Q&A and answering them right at the screen? Like, I can answer
Like, that's so easy.
Yeah,
I got this.
Like,
Right.
well, how did you find this very specific knack?
So I've always been fascinated with women who speak so well. Unfortunately, pageants is there. But my first North Star was looking at news anchors. So Rachel Maddows, Robin Roberts,
Mai
Maria
Rodriguez.
Ressa, and of
Yeah,
course,
Mai Rodriguez.
all of you who are
Cody
here.
Salvador.
Hangang-hang ako. I really look up to these people. So after that, I realized that there's this one night I was watching Binibining Pilipinas 2007. I was like grade 6 during that time. And I've written that also. That moment of like serendipity, like I want to kind of do that. But there's male pageant back then were not a thing yet. It was Teresa Licaros who eventually won Binibining Pilipinas Universe. That particular Q&A made me realize na, okay, this is something that I want to venture into.
And why? What was the question?
What was the question?
The question that Teresa Licaros was a lawyer, no? She was a top UP board grad in law. So the question that was thrown at her was if she could choose between the crown or love life, which would she choose and why?
Oh, that's a very common question,
So watch nyo, I mean, you will learn so much from that. But what I like about her was she didn't just answer in a pageant patty way. She answered in a way that was so calm. So the demeanor. So as a public speaker, I'm also looking at not only the content, but also
Wait, what
the
was her
demeanor.
answer?
So her answer was she picked the crown. Because she believes that...
I thought love wins.
Actually, it depends on like the person kasi,
How you
right?
explain.
Yeah.
So how did she defend that?
By the way, let me just pick up from that point, Chal. There's no wrong answers in Q&A, by the way.
I love that.
But she defended by saying that once the crown is no longer on her head and she was able to pass it on, then she can fulfill her love life. But with the crown, it's a once in a lifetime
I remember
opportunity.
this because actually when I did Q&A training during my time, we go through some of the old queens with really eloquent answers and we listen to how they crafted their answers. But kasi before, during my time, what was uso, this is where I saw na may lack in the Q&A. They tend to memorize themes.
Templated.
It's very templated. So they'll talk about their advocacy, women empowerment. Like there's themes para when they answer the same question, it's a different
I like what you're
answer geared
saying.
to it.
Because when I would watch pageants, I would see that sometimes they already have this draft of an answer that they will just inject to any question and then reuse it.
And so like now, that's why we're seeing trends of Q&A is really important because you have to be, like you said, well-read, well-prepared, and you have to know what's going on, current events, because you really have to know what's happening on the fly to present that.
Correct.
So for example, we're going to be your students.
Oh,
what questions do you ask? Like you said kanina during the
are
process.
we doing this right now?
No, later pa yun. Relax lang.
I'm ready.
I just want to know his process.
This is fun. You can do this like for an hour,
Okay.
right?
I think this is important because it's for anyone and everyone, not just beauty queens. So go ahead.
Okay,
so
what,
was saying,
what questions
what
do
questions
I ask?
do you ask to know like the skill level?
Okay, so I have these 3 common questions that I ask during the first session of coaching. My coaches do know this. So the first question that I ask is, why should you win? It's a very basic question, but by just answering that, I know right off the bat whether this girl is ready or not. And there's so many routes on how to go about that answer.
Oh my gosh, my hands are already sweating and I don't even
you
answer.
I
know. I'm just really embodying it because now, so that the viewers can actually understand, there's really weight to this.
Yes,
you know, once you stand there, it's easy for us as the audience to say like, oh my gosh, why did you answer that? Or why did you? But once you're placed in that position, I'm sure, Mo, you know.
And it's not just the critical thinking. It's being on stage. All the
Carrying
lights
yourself.
are you. On you, all eyes are on you. So there's a lot of elements that go into it. But sorry,
and
continue.
by the way, what I also did was I analyzed different questions, so systematically. So it has been part of my research also.
So he does like a psychological thing.
It's not just about like before pageant, as you said, is templated, it's just basically prepared. But what we don't realize is we can actually study the series of questions. So the second thing that I asked, aside from why should you win, it's a hypothetical one. If you were to be an animal, what animal would you be? And the reason for that question is I want to test the wittiness, the creativity of a person. Because usually, queens are prepared about their advocacy. They can just throw it right away. But those types of questions, it takes them aback. They go, what animal would you be? And then they would like, what? It's like not a serious question. But any question, you can turn it into something inspiring. I'll teach you guys later.
I love that. But actually, Nate, I want to know, baka ma-controversy tayo. If when you ask that question, why you want to win, if a pageant girl went up to you and they're doing it for the wrong reasons, or nakita mo na that they're lacking and hindi sila strong enough to do, how do you handle that?
So we go with the next series of questions, Unleashing Her Core. So the name of the academy that I founded is I-Core Academy, from the word I and core. Your core or core pillars, your values, your experiences, those are things that you have to unleash or where you can anchor your answers.
So you have to know yourself.
So that's what we do. So sometimes some girls, and by the way, let me just share with all of you, some girls would come to me, and of course they have their managers with them, they have their core team. Usually they would come with things already ready. But when I ask them, is this really something that you stand by? Is this really you? And they would say, actually, no, it was just given to me by my managers, it was given to me by this, by that. So I said, well, let's start from scratch because you won't be able to carry that through. How can you be a queen for the people if you are not carrying your truest self out there, your story out there?
Well said, it's all about authenticity too, right? And you know, more and more when I see pageants, the answers are, how do you say, it's more raw, more real, right? And that one takes a lot of training. And speaking about training, you will be doing that later on. Not just for us. Not just for us. For me. Because, you know, when I used to join pageants, which I never did. I never did, guys. I never did. No, actually, I used to do improv. And we would have a portion there called beauty contest. But we would have to answer with song lines. So it was more for the humor. Improvisation. But the beauty of what you're going to be teaching us later on, is that so that the audience can actually apply it also in their
Yeah.
everyday lives.
And especially public speaking.
Yeah.
That's really important. And we need a refresher on that.
So
Yeah.
we're
Di
gonna
tayo sa public, sa cameras lang tayo. So we need a refresher on how to speak
Because
to the people.
Actually, Q&A in itself is a public speaking form.
There you go. Yes,
And it's
agree.
a speech spectacle. It's not just you answering a question. Just like
Right.
pasarela, it's not you just walking. It's an art form and walk. So
Yeah.
Q&A, it's a response but creative, crafted, beautifully.
I
and
love
artistic.
it.
Okay, I'm excited already.
We're gonna do that later with
Yeah.
you.
Hold on. Let me take a breather. But when we return, I will try to be a beauty queen myself. Am I
can't
reading this right?
wait.
A question and answer portion awaits. Don't go away. The Daily Dish will be right back. Welcome back to the Daily Dish. Still with us is pageant Q&A coach Nathan Season.
I want to ask him though a question. This is actually for all of us here at Bilyonaryo. How would you handle a controversial question for a pageant girl or for us? How do we handle like we're supposed to be, we are neutral, we're Switzerland. So how do we handle situations like that?
Yeah, polarizing questions, we call it like
Religion,
that way. Yeah.
politics, money.
Yes.
So you have to know, you're gonna be strategic here. As a coach, what we do is a strategy. Like for example, take a look at this. For example, an issue about trans women competing in female pageantry has evolved already.
Right.
If that question were to be asked in Miss Universe, you know how to answer. You have to study what does this pageant or organization stand for because they accept trans women in Miss Universe. But if it were to be like Binibining Pilipinas, for example, where they remain conservative, the answer or the response were to adjust as well. So that's if you want to strategically win. But of course, in any case, then go back to your core. What do you really believe in? So it's about playing safe if you want to win it all, or it's about having that conviction to go with what you really stand for. But of course, you really have to defend that after. Because remember, Q&A is only 30 seconds. After that, you will be interviewed by the media to re-explain everything over again.
You know, I would be so scared if you were in the panel of judges and you were the one asking the questions. Because I always say this, sometimes it's not about the answer. It's about also asking the right question. So, speaking about questions, am I ready?
Yeah, sometimes the questions are kind of outrageous.
Yeah, and
like sometimes, right?
And doing Q&A sessions, believe it or not, even me, I think I've asked thousands of questions already. It's hard for me to come up with a good one.
Are those prepared? Like, are those questions given by the judges, are they usually submitted first prior? I'm out of curiosity, usually in pageantry.
Depends,
it depends
but
on which
supposedly
platform.
it shouldn't be.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it shouldn't be.
I actually don't know how it works. I was
just
the
got
one being asked.
There was a time where I sat as a judge in a municipality pageant. I was shocked with the level of questions. Like, are these candidates running for the presidency?
Yeah.
Given the leveling of questions. So sometimes the questions come from the organizers. So sometimes it's from the judges.
And like I want to touch base again on what you said, both of y'all actually. Authenticity is very important when doing a pageant. Because most of the time, the people can see right through you, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, even though you don't win the pageant, trending ka for the right reasons because of what you said.
Correct.
So
right or wrong reasons.
Well, either way, so that's why like it's really important to really stick to your core, like you
know
mentioned.
yourself.
Yeah, and you know yourself. So
Okay.
I wanna ask you some questions, girl.
Are we doing this right now?
Yeah.
All right. I was born ready. 3, 2,
You have a coach here.
1.
I'm just the mediator. Baka mag-away.
Okay.
I'm
Wait.
ready.
Before we do this, how
I'll do
does?
it.
Okay. Can you give 3 tips to any
She got nervous. She's like,
Okay.
wait, she's stalling.
3 tips, quickly.
All right, Chal. So 3 tips for answering a Q&A.
Yeah, for
One
anyone.
is to directly answer the question. Do not add any unnecessary opening.
Really?
Directly answer
No
the
more.
question right away.
Thank you very much for that wonderful
And then
question.
repeat the
That's so
question by
passe.
time.
That's so
To buy
passe.
time.
Okay.
And later it's gonna be
Wala
up
na,
to
yeah.
bell time,
Okay.
right? So answer the question directly.
Okay.
Go straight to the point. Second one is if you can insert yourself, what will you do with the question? Insert yourself. Find a purpose. Why are you answering that question?
Wow,
And
okay.
leave an inspiring message. And lastly, end with an impact. End well. If you don't know how to end with an impact, at least sound confident. So that
I'll go with the
Kaya mo
sound
yan.
confident. Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's
hands
go.
are wet.
Go,
Alright.
Nate. Ask your question.
Wait lang, maximum of 3 lang, guys.
Maximum of 3.
For Nate.
Sige. Just top of mind. And I want this to be trending. So,
Wow, trending? Are you
Of course,
ready?
we're in the daily dish, so we should do something that would make
Let's leave the
Chal
trending
trend.
part to Coach V.
Go,
Okay.
go.
Okay. Imagine if you were in a sinking ship, who would you save? President Bongbong Marcos or Vice President Sara Duterte?
Oh my God! Wait lang.
I would save first our current president only because he is the sitting president and he is the current leader of the country. And then I would like to save both so I could save my own life. Is that okay? Baka mapatay ako kaagad dito. Okay.
Okay. So let me give some coaching tips about
Yes,
it. All
oo.
right. So I understand that is like a surprising question.
And that's
but
the controversial
that's
one
a
we
very
talked about
controversial
kanina.
one.
I
You
know.
my baby.
Should we hug?
Pag ako nawalan ng trabaho,
No? Okay, but you did well. You handled it well. So
Okay.
you weren't nervous at all. But
Okay.
here's the thing. When you're asked such a question that is polarizing, that is controversial, you know your response might divide the people.
Yeah.
The safest way to go is to deflect. I have this technique that I coined deflection.
Oh my gosh.
How do you do deflect?
We love deflecting.
Yes.
Answering the question without answering it. So you're being asked to choose between the two, and you know if you choose one, you're gonna
A
divide
or
the
B.
person, right?
Oh, wait. Take 2. I
Okay.
choose to save myself because
Effective
without
coach,
effective.
Yeah.
I learned right away. Good coach. I choose to save myself because without saving myself, how can you save others first?
There you go. There you go. We have a winner here.
Okay, I get to keep my job.
You get to-
Okay. Okay, next question. Good though. Deflecting.
Now I
okay.
understand. Okay, how to
Deflecting.
handle
Hey,
it.
politicians can actually use this as well.
Yes.
But please don't deflect.
I do coach politicians for public speaking.
Oh,
too.
nice.
See, very
Can I say?
vital. Okay,
Yeah.
last one.
Second.
Eh,
Okay,
second.
last one.
Last
Okay.
one.
And then the last one will be coming from
Okay,
Monique.
second one.
Sige, my second question. This one was asked Miss Universe 2002. It's an interesting question. I want to use it to you as a case study.
She's sweating.
What makes
don't know how you
you blush?
As you can see, I'm currently blushing right now, which means as much as I would like to share it, PG-13.
Yeah, authentic. Okay.
Okay, I just want everyone to know that this is really difficult because you really try to say the first thing that comes into mind to make it
Yeah.
real, but at the same time, you don't know if that would be accepted or the
Yeah.
right way to do it. Okay, what's your tip? Because I know I answered wrong. Let's be
Okay.
honest.
So again, there's no such thing as a wrong answer as long as you can
Ah,
defend
yes,
it.
okay.
Right?
No wrong or right.
Because once we started telling you that your answer is wrong, maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's just the way it was packaged. No? So
Okay.
what makes you blush? So really, if you're gonna answer it now, thinking about it, ano ba talaga yung nakakapagpa-blush sa'yo? Is it love? Is it your career right now? Is it the crown?
Sa akin, my
The idea-
makeup. My
Okay.
makeup makes me blush.
Okay.
Honest
Because
answer.
we are blushing.
Maron.
So my tip is basically think about what really is it and
Okay.
generalize it. So once you started to generalize, so what makes me blush? You can anchor it towards your advocacy.
expound it.
Yeah, expound it. Like for example, what makes me blush is knowing the fact that tonight I might walk away with the crown.
Oh my
and by walking
gosh,
away
I
with
should
that
have
crown,
answered that.
I can carry out my advocacies and purpose, and you know what to do already. And then there's a structure
Okay,
that you follow.
last one.
I'm
We're learning.
going to ask you the last one.
Okay. Be
No,
nice,
'cause
Ma.
Yeah.
No, you already know
Okay,
the question.
what's
'cause
it?
It's what Nathan asked kanina, like the parang pre-screening question.
Okay, what is it?
Because I
Okay.
want to know, if you
Okay.
were an animal, what animal would you be? I want to know your answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would be a honey badger because not many people know what a honey badger is, but they're definitely powerful until you meet them.
Until you beat them.
Did you beat the honey badger? Do you guys know what a honey badger is? I just learned it last
Honey
week.
badger is a honey badger.
It's small, but it's terrible.
Wow.
Okay.
yeah.
So you're small but terrible.
I'm a honey badger, yeah.
I love it. Well, now, okay, let's turn it now around.
The
to
right,
me.
no longer right, but the
We
better
have
way.
another guest. Just kidding. Okay.
Ikaw na, the spotlight
Back to
is on
you,
you.
back to you,
We're
yes.
gonna test the skills.
Okay, let's
okay,
give
Nate, nagbabalita na tayo. Back to you over there.
Okay.
So, Chal, ikaw muna.
Okay,
I'm gonna
Nathan.
do the Q&A. Okay.
Yes, you answer this time. Gantihan to. Okay, Nathan, if you were to win this pageant, but there would be a controversy that someone actually helped or gave an extra hand, what would you do? Would you keep the crown or would you actually relinquish it?
I would relinquish it if that's the case. I would never put my integrity down the line. I would show the person that I am, that is honest, somebody that would win on my own merit, not with a helping hand of any other. Because I think that's what would make me
Script
an
drop.
effective,
Amazing.
amazing
He
ambassador
didn't
for
even
the
have to
organization.
finish. I was like,
Wow. Okay, next question.
Okay, we always ask this here on the Daily Dish, and we always say, don't give us your beauty queen answer.
Okay.
So dapat hindi to beauty queen, okay?
No, sige,
so
no
if
beauty
you
queen
had
answer.
a billion pesos right now, what would you do with it? And
Okay,
why?
definitely. So my goal and aspiration is to travel the world. I would like to travel the world and also showcase the stories of the people that I would meet. That would be something amazing that with that 1 billion, I can make my dream purposeful. So that's what I would do. It's not a beauty queen answer.
Right. That's a nice
You know,
answer,
it's not a
actually.
beauty queen answer. It's a real
Real answer,
This is
but
not
he
to
also
travel,
like
yeah.
ended it with a bang. Kasi ang ganda, like I want to help showcase other people's
Okay,
stories.
another question that we always ask here at the Daily Dish is...
Last na to, don't worry.
Yeah.
That's that, okay.
Three is to
We're
three.
serving dishes now.
If you were a dish... Oh, did I get it right?
If you were to serve.
If you were to serve...
Actually, pero maganda yung other way mo.
the other way. Oh!
Let's change
Okay,
it.
if you were a
Gantihan, so.
dish to be served to anyone, okay, every single day, what dish would you be?
Ooh, okay. So hypothetical one. So something that my comfort food is really sinigang. So if I were to serve a dish, that would be it. Because I know that it can warm so many souls. And through that, by sipping the soup together, by having that bond, I'm sure that anyone would appreciate the company with that dish. So that's what I would
Ang
say.
ganda ng sinigang!
May asin si Nathan!
May
Oh
asin
my
ako,
God!
yeah.
Wow, Nathan, and this is why you're so amazing at what you do. But before we let you go, if our
Yes.
viewers are interested in talking to you, getting life coach from
And to
you,
learn more also about
where can they
public
find
speaking.
you?
Yeah, so you can find me. I have my IG at Nathan Season. Also, iCore Academy at iCore Academy. And also, for those of you who don't have time to train, you can do your self-training. I actually have a published book. It's called
Nice.
Speak and Win. So Speak
Nice.
and Win, this is really about Q&A. It's not just a book generally about public speaking. It's really niched for preparations for pageant Q&A. You can only avail this directly from me through iCore Academy Instagram page.
So exclusive.
So,
I love
Wonderful.
it.
That was so
Thank
fun.
you. That
Thank
was
you
such
so
a fun
much.
segment. We learned so much. Again, guys, that was Nathan Season. Thank you again for joining us. Now we have
Thank
more
you.
stories coming up. The Daily Dish will be right
Back.
Thank you.
And we're back on the Daily Dish. Despite optimism from car makers, Philippine auto sales are showing little growth this year. While commercial vehicles and electrified models are on the rise, passenger car sales continue to slide. Our mobility correspondent G. Baroga has this report.
Even with car industry players sounding optimistic, Philippine auto sales are still moving at a slow pace as corruption scandal and controversies dampen demand. A joint report from the Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines or CAMPI and Truck Manufacturers Association shows the industry sold more than 383,000 units year to date, compared to over 384,000 on the same period last year. Commercial vehicles continue to carry most of the load, with more than 305,000 units sold, 8% higher than in 2024. Passenger cars, meanwhile, are still lagging behind, selling over 77,000 units, which is a 23% drop from last year's more than 100,000. On the brighter side, electrified vehicles are still gaining momentum. Sales reached more than 24,000 units, with hybrids leading the pack at 19,000 plus. Battery electrics reached almost 4,000, while plug-in hybrids closed in at 945. These figures don't include sales of BYD under AC Mobility of the Bilyonaryo Zobel de Ayala family, currently the country's EV market leader and the world's top-selling EV brand. Among Campi members, Toyota of the Bilyonaryo T family continues to dominate hybrid sales. Tesla, owned by billionaire Elon Musk, leads the battery electric category, while Chery under Bilyonaryo Romel Citin's United Asia Automotive Group takes the top spot for plug-in hybrids. Earlier this month, Toyota Motor Philippines Chairman Alfred T told BNC Mobility the industry is still on track to hit its sales target of more than 500,000 units. We'll find out soon enough if the industry meets that goal, with Toyota still holding a 48% market share. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
And tomorrow on the Daily Dish, catch our conversation with actress and model Bubbles Paraiso live at noon, only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Don't miss that. Bubbles Paraiso
I know,
will be
exciting.
here.
And
yes,
here goes our Christmas countdown in 3, 2, 1.
Yay! 36 days before Christmas. And that's it for us today, Wednesday, November 19. Join us again tomorrow for more Real Talk.
A lot of spilled tea.
With zero filter, I'm Monique Tuzon. Anytime is a good time because it's always more fun with us.
I'm Chal, Lontoc. Stay tuned to the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Thanks for making us your lunchtime companion. I'm Mai Rodriguez. That's the Daily Dish. Sir.